Okay, in the last part of this video, or of section 3.4, I'm going to show you how to find which score is the kth percentile. So let's say if we have a list of scores, and I want to know which score represent the 30th percentile, which score represent the 99 percentiles. Then there is a few things we have to do. First, we need to rank our data from lowest to highest, which we did. This data has been ranked from lowest to highest. The next thing we do is we need to find a number that's called L. Now L is the location or the locator. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, this means that this is location number 1, location number 2, location number 3, location number 4. So L would equal to 1 here because that's the first location. L would equal to 10 here because that's the 10th location, and so on and so forth. So we begin by list the data from lowest to highest, and the second thing we have to do is we have to find this number L. Now how do you find L? I'm going to show you how to find L later. Once you have found L, if L is not a whole number, then you round L up and you find the score in that position. If L happens to be the whole number, then you take the average of the scores in position L and put the next to L, which is L plus 1. Okay? So how do you find L, you might wonder? Well, to find L, we begin by seeing what we're looking for. So we're looking for the 35th percentiles. Start by turning that into 0.35. Okay, so step 1, take 0.35 times the number of data that you have. In our example, we have 76 actresses that we want to study. So this table contains 76 samples. So to find L, we take the percent and we multiply that by the number of people sample in the study. And let's see what L comes out to be. L would be 0.35 times 76. L comes out to be 26.6. Now if L is not a whole number, which that was not a whole number, then round it up and then find the score in that position. So guess what L is? It is 27. The 27th location is the value that represents 35%. So I go back to this table and I have to look for the 27th location. 10, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 27, which is the number 30. Okay? So 30, the age of 30 is the 35th percentiles, which means that 35% of all the actresses are below 30. And it also means that the opposite of 35% is 65%. So 65% of all the actresses are above 30. Think of it that way. When you see Q2, which means quartile 2, what I would do is I would think of that as the 50 percentile, because Q2, 2 quarters is 50%. And then the first thing you do is you find the location of this 50 percentiles by taking that percent times the number of sample. So L equals to 0.5 times 76, 38. So remember, if L is a whole number, which it is, then you have to take the scores in that position and take the scores in the position next to it. Okay? So the score at the 38th location is 10, 20, 30, 31, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is 33. And then the score in the next location is 34. So 33 and 34. And we have to take its average. So I have to add those up and then divide them by 2. And if I do that, then I get 33.5. So we say that the Q2 is 33.5. One way to understand this is to think of it as 50% of the actresses are below 33.3 and the other 50% are above 33.3 in age. Okay. Find the 67th percentiles. begin by taking, since this is a percent, take 0.67 times the number of sample, which is 76. Again, remember that there are 76 sample, and that gives you your location, or the locator. Using a calculator, 0.67 times 76 gives us 50.92. And remember, if this happens to be a decimal, then round it up. So I round that up to 51. And now I look for the score in the 50th location, or the age in the 50th location. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 51, okay, which is 37. All right, so P67 equals to 37. And then let's do Q1. So Q1 means that the 25 percentile, because the first quarter is 25%. Start by finding the location by taking the percent times the number of sample. 0.25 times 76, that gives you 19. Unfortunately, that means we have to work a little harder because that number is a whole number. So we have to consider the next location as well. Let me make this a little bit neater. This should say 19, okay, and this should say 20. Now in this bracket, I'm going to put the scores. So, or the age, 19 location, so this is 19, 28, and this is the 20th location, which is also 28. So we got 28 and 28. If you add these up and divide them by 2, you still get 28. So P25th is 28, and P25th means 25th percentile, which that means is that 25% of all actresses are below 28. Or another way to say that is 75% of all actresses are above 28. Okay. The last thing I want to do is to teach you the 5-number summary. Every data has 5 important numbers. One of those important number is the smallest number. That's one of them. The largest number is the other one. The number that separates the first 25% of all the data is Q1, which is another important number. The other number is the number 33.5, which separates the first 50% of the data from the last 50% of the data. And then Q3. So those 5 numbers are what we consider to be the 5 numbers summary. So the minimum value, the first quartile or the 25th percentile, second quartile, or sometimes referred to as the median, or the 50 percentile, the number at the 75 percentile, and the maximum value. Those are the 5-number summary. So here's a graphical look at that. Okay. Let's go ahead and find those 5-number summary for these data. Say at the Central Hospital, there's some concerns about the high turnover of nurses. A survey was done to determine how long nurses had been in their current positions. The responses for 12 nurses are as follows. So I would start by finding the smallest number of turnover that before they left is, first of all, the minimum is 5 months. The Q1 is the next one, followed by Q2, Q3, and then the max. Okay, I know what the max is. The max is 33 because the data has been sorted already. Now Q2 is the number in the middle, so let's see if we can find the number in the middle. The number in the middle would be, because there's 12 responses, that means that the number in the middle is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the number in the middle is going to be 6.5, which means that we're going to have to take the average of 1, 2, 3, 4. The average of these two. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Since the middle is 6.5, so we have to take the average of these two, which is 1550. So 1550 would be our median, or our Q2, because Q2 is the median. And then your Q1, think of Q1 as the 25 percentile. So first, find the location by multiplying 0.25 by 12. And that gives you 3. But remember, if your location comes out to be a whole number, then you need to also consider the data at the next location. So you have to consider the data at 3 and 4 and then take the average. So the months at the third location is 1, 2, 3. It's 11 months. And the months at the fourth location is 12. So Q1 would be 11.5. Okay. And then Q3, which is the same thing, we think of Q3 as P75. Start by finding the location. Takes 0.75 times 12. That gives us 9. So we have to consider 9 and 10. So 9 and 10 and 10. The value at the 9th location is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 19. And the value at the 10th location is 20. So Q3 would be 19.5. Okay? So these are the 5 number summary. It summarizes our data pretty well. We can kind of look at it and get a good feel for it. We can kind of see that 25% of all the nurses in the sample left before 11.5 months. 50% of all the nurses left before 15.5 months, and so on and so forth. 75% of the nurses left before 19.5 months. Another way to say this is to say that 25% of all the nurses stay longer than 19.5 months. So to construct a box plot is pretty easy. All you have to do is plot these points on a number line. So I drew this number line, and we're going to go and plot these. Start by plotting the minimum value, which is 5. So put a dot on 5. Plot quartile 1, 11.5, 11.5, 15.5, 19.5, 33 is the max. And then what you're going to do is you're going to draw a box from Q1 to Q3. So draw a box like this and connect Q1 to Q3. Okay. And then draw a line that connects from the minimum value to the maximum value. And that's the box plot. So a box plot actually gives us a lot of data because it tells us that we can look at it and read something off from the chart. So we can see that 75% of all the nurses stayed less than 19.5 months, or left before 19.5 months, and so on and so forth.